Types of poetic forms / kinds of poems. While there are any number of ways that poets can use stanzas to tell a story, the two broad approaches are formal verse and free verse. Formal verse is poetry that follows a strict repeating pattern, like sonnets. Stanzas in formal verse will have a matching meter and rhyme scheme. Free verse, poetry does not follow a strict rhyme or meter. Stanzas of different types can be used within a poem. It lacks a consistent rhyme scheme, metrical pattern, or musical form. Epic. An epic poem is a lengthy, narrative work of poetry. These long poems typically detail extraordinary feats and adventures of characters from a distant past. Narrative poetry. Similar to an epic, a narrative poem tells a story, the toys. Pastoral poetry. A pastoral poem is one that concerns the natural world, rural life, and landscapes, solitary reaper. Sonnet. A sonnet is a short lyric poem that consists of 14 lines, typically written in iambic pentameter, a 10-syllable pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables, and following a specific rhyme scheme. Elegies. An elegy is a poem that reflects upon death or loss. Traditionally, it contains themes of mourning, loss, and reflection. However, it can also explore themes of redemption and consolation. Ode. An ode is a lyrical poem that expresses praise, glorification, or tribute. It examines its subject from both an emotional and an intellectual perspective. Lyric poetry. Lyric poetry refers to the broad category of poetry that concerns feelings and emotion, usually written in the first person and often accompanied by some sort of musical instrumentation. Ballad. A ballad, or ballade, is a form of narrative verse that can be either poetic or musical. It typically follows a pattern of rhymed quatrains and represents a melodious form of storytelling. Soliloquy / monologue. A soliloquy is a monologue in which a character speaks to him or herself, expressing inner thoughts that an audience might not otherwise know. 7 Stages of Man.